Welcome to the Black and Gold Hour podcast. It's your host, Merv. And don't let this green fool you. This is a podcast for Saints fans, by a Saints fan. And speaking of green, the New Orleans Saints have a game against the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, if you've been a Saints fan, of course, over the Peyton and Brees era, this has been a matchup that has had a lot of memories, a lot of playoff victories, a lot of, big time plays by big time players, especially on the New Orleans Saints. But I got someone here to help me out, kind of review this game, because this was a special game for me. Honestly, out of all the teams in the NFL that irk me the most, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. Maybe it's because my family has been Eagles fans, or they were just rub it in when they were good in the early 2000s with McNabb and the Saints were kind of struggling. But now it has led to me to really not like this team. But the Saints have a game on Sunday, and we have to review everything that's going down with the New Orleans Saints and the Philadelphia Eagles. So to help me break down this show, I got another Saints fan that I've met over the course of doing this show. I've met so many great Saints fans that have so much knowledge about the team. And, they just wanted to connect, and I wanted to connect and reach out to them. So, Brian, how you doing today, man?
Oh, life is good, my man. Life is good.
Man. So, I bring you on, and when I bring guests on, I kind of always do it kind of differently. I start off, asking them about how they became a Saints fan and everything like that. So, actually, I'm going to start off the same for you. How did you become a New Orleans Saints fan?
That's a good one. I wasn't always a football fan at all. So I was a big NBA fan as a kid. The Broncos played, I believe, the Packers in like 97 or 98. And I was watching that Super Bowl, and growing up in New Orleans, a lot of people were supporting Brett Favre. So, I was kind of like being that devil's advocate. I was pulling for the Broncos. And like, man, Terrell Davis who's this running back? This was nice. And fast forward, I started liking the NFL after that game. And I was like, growing up in New Orleans, it was kind of easy to kind of gravitate toward the home team and gravitate toward the black and gold. So from that Super Bowl on, I was a huge Saints fan. So I guess 23 years.
Wow. So you got me beat. I've been a fan for the last 15. I was 11 years old when I started watching the New Orleans Saints, man. And my dad kind of put it in me. He was from New Orleans, but I had no choice, bro. I had no choice whatsoever but to be a fan, man. And through all the heartbreaks, through all everything, I had no choice. But the team looks different now. It's 2020, and this is the fourth consecutive playoff appearance by the New Orleans Saints, and they can clinch the NFC South on Sunday. So Brees, of course, we know Brees he's out right now. He has a rib injuries as well as a right punctured lung, but he's on the field. He's warming up. We know Brees is coming back, but it does appear that Taysom will be starting on Sunday. So, let's talk about Taysom Hill. Let's talk about Jameis Winston. Now, if you listened to the podcast before, I'm a big Taysom Hill advocate. I wanted to see what the Saints could do with him, and we've definitely seen what he's able to do. We've seen the good, and we've also seen the bad. So tell me, what's your thoughts on the Taysom Hill, or were you more leaning towards Jameis Winston in the Saints experiment?
All right. So in the beginning, I was pushing heavy for Winston, because we know the arm talent that Winston has. I mean, the pedigree of being a top first round pick, all the things he did at Florida State. His only issues were in between the ears, like his maturity, his leadership. And that's what I think really gave Sean Payton the nudge toward Taysom, because Taysom has those leadership qualities. You see him in the huddle, you see him with the guys. He can lead. I mean, when Brees is out there, it's a well-oiled machine. Offense is on time. It's like it's a sports car. You know what I mean? It's like a Ferrari. Taysom's more like a Mack truck. Like he's a so it's not the same car, but we're still scoring points. We're still moving the ball. We're still getting first down. So a 3-game sample size is too small to give a real evaluation, but I'm definitely happy with this last game against Atlanta, especially in the passing game, because I was a little bit like, worried that he's not processing information fast enough. He's not making the right reads. Because even things as simple as just check downs seem to be like a task for him. Whereas I know what Jameis can do in the passing game, but you don't know what you're going to get with turnovers. You don't know what you're going to get with leadership. And you don't know what you're going to get on a consistency basis from Jameis. With Taysom, you're going to get that consistency of, he's going to be accountable. You know he's going to lead the offense and get these guys on time. You just don't know what you're going to get in the passing game. And he has turned the ball over every single start. That's something that kind of worried me. But I mean, if he can get that cleaned up and he can find some more momentum in the passing game, which I hope, and I kind of believe that he will with time, then I'm on board the Taysom train, to be honest.
Look, one thing, regardless of what anybody says, Taysom can ball against the Falcons. We've seen it twice.
Yeah.
He's been throwing it all over the field. He did have 2 fumbles that he's got to clean up. And just taking more chances, having more confidence in himself on the field. And I think he's going into games with the Teddy Bridgewater mindset from last season, where you just don't want to turn the ball over. You know this team is good. You know they're headed to the playoffs and a deep playoff run. So you just don't want to hurt the team. But I think Taysom, he has the confidence of Sean Payton, so he should just let it go, man. Emmanuel Sanders is open most of the time, and Emmanuel Sanders open all the time. I'm wondering what goes through his head after the games, but
he has to be. He's a team player for sure. Because if he was a diva, he'd be in his ear.
Yeah, right. But Taysom will get it together. There's a couple of free agent quarterbacks out here during the summer. I know I've heard Matt Stafford and Sam Darnold as well. And Matt Stafford would be somebody that I would definitely look at. But Taysom hasn't shown anything to make me say that we shouldn't move forward with him. But I definitely want to see more. And hopefully in this Philly game, we can see it. But on the Philadelphia Eagles side, Doug Peterson did announce that Jalen Hurts will be starting. So the New Orleans Saints, if you've been a fan for 23 years, you know the Saints, the quarterbacks, the rookie quarterbacks, or the quarterbacks we don't expect to succeed usually have success against the Saints, whether it be, RG3 or whether it be early Cam Newton or whether it be quarterbacks we don't expect to ball out. I dare I say his name, Alex Smith. Like, why? I know that.
Painful memories.
Yeah, that's my most painful memory. So what do you think the Saints defense has to do to stop the Eagles offense, stop their run game, and kind of take control of the game?
Well, I think you nailed it on the head. It's in the past, those Saints defenses were I don't think they were anywhere near up to snuff to even compare to what this defense is today. That's why rookie quarterbacks would have a feast on them. They would when you get inconsistency, you don't know what you're going to get week to week. You get sometimes you get good, sometimes you get bad, and then sometimes you get downright ugly. I remember days when we would have the Jason David days and the Brandon Browner days. When balls are going over people's heads, you're like, okay, you're just playing. That it's not. The other team wouldn't come down with it, and then rookie quarterbacks would look like seasoned vets against us. Right. This weekend, I don't see it, man. I think this group is a veteran group. It's a mature group. These guys are all communicating well. They're playing well together. I think it's a big credit to Ryan Neeson, the defensive line coach. Right. He got that defensive line playing like lights out, man. And I mean, they're just so deep. Every person on that group is strong. They bring a different skill set, and they get after it, man. In both rushing the passer and in playing the run. And I think the guys in the back seven benefit heavy from that. Although there's a lot of talent in the back seven, I think it all starts up front with that defensive line, and I think they're going to get after whoever's quarterbacking, whether it be a rookie, whether it be a GOAT, Tom Brady. It doesn't matter who's back there. They're going to be under pressure.
Right. And I think the defensive line, that's where it starts and ends with this defense. This defense in the Sean Payton, Drew Brees era, I'm thinking back to the Super Bowl defense. I'm thinking back to the defenses over the last 3 years. I think this is the best defense. I think adding Quan Alexander and all the different trials and tribulations they've been through. We know about the Minnesota Miracle. We know about the Rams game, and we know what happened against the Minnesota Vikings last year. I think this team has been tested, and now they're ready. They look wise. There's nothing that they can't handle on the defensive end. Early in the season, we did have some questions about the secondary, but they've been playing well, and I'm sure they're going to be tested. I'm not sure this week, but definitely next week against the Chiefs. So we're going to see what this secondary is made of, but the defensive line and the linebackers are playing excellent right now. And I think that's if we do still have secondary deficiencies or secondary problems, then we'll be able to cover that up with good defensive line play. And we got Trey Hendrickson, we got Cam Jordan, we got Marcus Davenport, who should be coming back soon, and Sheldon Rankins coming back soon as well, right in time for the playoffs. So I think in this game they'll be able to shut it down. I mean, I'm not picking a close game, I'm not picking a blowout, but it won't be a close game at all. But I kind of wanted to get to my next question. So the New Orleans Saints, they can't clinch the NFC South on Sunday. They are in the first place in the NFC. But do you think, would you rush Drew Brees back for the Chiefs game, or would you let him sit a little bit longer? Is it important that the Saints stay with the first seed, or does it not matter due to the pandemic and fans not really being there, and they're not really being a home field advantage in the playoff? Does it really matter? Should the Saints be beginning to look towards the playoffs, or should they be, aim for the first seed?
First things first. You said that they can win the division this weekend,
right?
That's huge. We won the division 3-4 times in a row.
3.
This is 4.
This will be the 4. Mm-hmm.
4 years in a row, unheard of in the South. I think it's really important, first of all, to make the playoffs. And the easiest way to get there is by winning your division. The East is going to send somebody to the playoffs with 5 wins. So by winning their division. In the South, look, this year we're doing well, and if we, win this game this weekend, that can be a division clincher. Now, I used to believe that you want to rest players and get them as healthy as you can for the playoffs. I don't believe that anymore. I think that, look, if you can go. Because football it's a rough sport, bro. You can't play to not get hurt. You gotta just play and trust in your teammates, trust in your abilities, and trust in your trainers. If you're good to go. Because at this point in the season, nobody's 100%. Not one player out there is not playing with some kind of nick or some kind of ding or whatever. Because it's a rough sport. If Brees can play, I want him suited up, in my opinion. And I don't believe in that whole resting your players thing. You want to play for that number 1 seed. They're only giving 1 bye this year. And you don't want to go to Green Bay in January, bro. Just saying. I would rather them come to us. I want them to take the number 1 seed, no matter what that takes. If you risk an injury, you can't. I feel like you just can't play the game with scared money don't make money. You got to roll the dice and then see what happens. And I think that you're playing good ball right now. The way the defense is playing, special teams is playing well. Everything's kind of coming together. You keep that ball rolling. And if Brees can go, let him go. You go after that 1 seed and make all roads come through New Orleans.
Right. And I agree with you. Even Alvin Kamara, they asked him over the last 2 weeks about his foot. That man is a beast. That man is killing it on a foot that we're asking him.
I think the audio went out a little bit.
Alvin Kamara is a player that, fits the example you just said. If you're on the field, then everything will be good. So, to kind of get to the main thing about this 2020 Saints team, there's just something different about this team. There's something that is different from the last 3 years. We've had this feeling the last 3 years. We've had about to clinch the playoffs, about to clinch the division, but something feels different about this team. I don't know what it is. Usually I told myself I wouldn't get hyped. I told myself this season I would not I'm tired of getting hyped. But honestly, with this team, something feels different. And in my opinion, I think it's the confidence. I think it's the confidence that this team exudes. I think it's the teamwork, the camaraderie, and the addition of Quan Alexander. But I kind of wanted to hear from you. Is it offense? Is it defense? Is it coaching? What do you think is different about this 2020 team?
Every single year, you get the core of a team pretty much back together unless you blow it all up, right? This year there wasn't a training camp, but I think the last 3 years of this team, they started out outside of Cam Jordan and Drew Brees. This was a relatively young squad. I mean, this was all homegrown talent, draft picks, guys that, took time to mature. Like you got what you mentioned, the Minneapolis Miracle. Marcus Williams was a rookie. He's a first-year player. We all know the craziness that happened in the Rams game that led to a rule change. And then you got Minnesota again. So, look, I think the difference in this team, I really feel like it's two players. Obviously, the game isn't controlled by two players. However, I think certain players bring a certain amount of energy, and it just gets people going. Like it gets like everyone else around them plays better, or in this one player's case, they play worse. I'm gonna say the offensive player is for sure Alvin Kamara, who's this guy has 51 touchdowns in 57 games. He's on the pace, on the Hall of Fame pace. This dude is one of the most special backs. I mean, I love running backs. What got me into the game was Terrell Davis. Right. I didn't even care about NFL before then. This dude is he's unbelievable, man. Like I think that I think this offense is just transforming around what he's able to do. That's one real big cog in why this team is just different this year. Another one is a player that don't get much mention in like great player status, but I'm telling you, this dude lives rent free in every single receiver we play head. I'm talking CD Deuce, Chauncey Gardner Jr. Yeah. This dude is the reason why that defense is there's just plays sometimes where you'll watch it seems like the receivers have checked out of the game. They just want to go after him. They're not even worried about their assignments or their routes. This dude is making our defense really, I think it's why it's so good, because they can't concentrate. This dude talks so much trash. I don't know. I want to hear him mic'd up. I really do.
Man, the dude,
because
he's hilarious.
I really think that those two players are the biggest difference in why this team feels different. I mean, everyone else around them, obviously special talents, no doubt about it. I'm not saying that these guys are on a pedestal above the whole team. However, when you talk about the feel and the energy of this 2020 season exactly, you're going to look back at like that Chicago game where dude gets ejected because CD Deuce is in his head. If you look at that Atlanta game, at the end of that game, they had a chance to score. One of their best receivers didn't even go for the ball. He literally just tried to punch CD Deuce. He didn't even go for the Hail Mary.
Right.
This dude is living rent free. I mean, in these guys' heads, man. I'm telling you, like, I think it's just a different thing. And that's what the different feel is of this year. Whereas the last years, we had expectations, and everyone's like, okay, Drew Brees' window is shrinking. They want to see him get a ring. And you get this big buildup. It's kind of like you're going on a date or something with a hot girl or whatever. You're like, oh man, I really want to do this and I want to do that, and you're forgetting to have fun and just enjoy the ride.
Right.
With this team, I feel like we're just playing with house money and just enjoying the ride, and the cards are just falling in place. So, and it's kind of it feels it doesn't feel like the 2009 season, because that season was just a magical year. This team feels more dominant. Like this defense feels dominant. I feel like they can stop anybody. Then this offense, I feel like they can score on anybody. So I'm excited. I feel like this we have the strongest team in the league, and if we keep this momentum going, it will end with the New Orleans Saints hoisting the Lombardi Trophy. But first things first, business is this weekend, and that's taking care of business in Philadelphia. So
I agree with everything you just said. This team feels like a well-oiled machine, man. Like they feel like they're hitting on all cylinders right now. Coaching, top in the league. Offense, top in the league. Defense, which is surprising a lot of us, is top in the league. I mean, there are years where the defense was, I mean, you just knew. You felt like you could go out there and score against them. So it just feels like now, things are different. And I think, with the addition of great linebacking, another great linebacker in Alexander, I think it's time that they took it to the next level. And we're definitely going to see what they're made of against the Chiefs. But like I said, like you said, they got business to take care of against the Eagles. So give me your score prediction.
Okay, so Vegas set the line at -7. Got the Saints favored by 7. I think the score is going to look closer to a 2-score game. I feel like the quarterback change is going to give Philly some juice. They're going to play with a little bit more energy than they played with under Wentz. So I expect them to come out fighting pretty early in the first half. But I think that the Saints machine will be, just like I said, will be a little bit too much, and they'll overcome them. I'm seeing a final score of 27-13 Saints.
Okay, so I picked a similar score as well, a 2-score game as well, and I picked the New Orleans Saints to win 31-17. Like I said, with Jalen Hurts coming in, I do think they'll be ready in the first half. But then that third quarter, fourth quarter, the experience and the veteran leadership of the New Orleans Saints will begin to wear down on them. And hopefully the Saints continue with the run game with Latavius Murray and Alvin Kamara. And I think that'll just, take the heart out of the Philadelphia Eagles. And that'll be pretty much it for that game. And we can look forward to the game that everybody is talking about. But I have to ask you one more question, just something that I've been thinking about. I've been seeing different fans have different opinions and different analysts, and we see Drew Brees in warmups. We see him stretching today with the team. What do you think about the Drew Brees recovery process? Do you want to see him to come back sooner than later, or would you rather have him sit out until at least a 1 or 2 games before the playoffs start? I know Drew Brees is going to say he's ready, but if you were a coach, what would you do?
If I were a coach, I would trust the doctors. I would trust Drew, because look, you only get one ride. You've seen what this team can do without Drew Brees. But when this guy's done with his career, he's a legend. He's a legend in New Orleans. He's a legend in this league. He has multiple records. You don't keep that kind of talent on a sideline if they can go. If he can go, put him in the game. I think I don't want to rush him back, but I think he's smarter than that. I don't think he's the kind of guy who's just gonna throw himself out there to the wolves. Because if you coming off of an injury, especially as he's undersized as it is. Right. So coming off, and if you're injured, people are gonna come after you in this game. It's the nature of the beast. You saw what happened when we did to Brett Favre when we won the Super Bowl. When teams think you're hurt, they're gonna go for it. They're gonna hit you. So I feel like if Brees can go, you put him in the game, you let him go, because the offense is a different offense when he's out there. He's our general. You know what I mean? And this team. It's kind of sad if I'm thinking about it now, like, because he's at the end of his career, and this defense, like you said, is probably the best defense this man has ever seen. And it's like he's not even on the field for the best defense he's ever had. And this guy's been the most accurate quarterback the league has ever seen. He's been one of the quickest decision makers the league has ever seen. And now he finally has the supporting cast as far as the defense and special teams to go along with that, and he can't suit up. So it's like, damn, when can all the cards fall together for my man? But like, life doesn't always happen how you want it to happen. You can't write a storybook. So he's a part of the New Orleans Saints. Me and you are both Saints fans. Mm-hmm. I want what's best for the team as a whole. And regardless of what happens, Drew Brees will get a ring if we win the whole thing. So whatever helps the team perform the best, that's what I want. Whether that be Drew Brees playing or Drew Brees sitting on the sideline. If he's healthy and he can go, I want to see number 9 behind center.
And sometimes with these things, it's almost a blessing in disguise. Why I say that is we would have went into the offseason not knowing about the potential of Taysom or possibly Jameis, but we got a chance to see Taysom was able to gain the confidence of the coaches. We as fans, some of us were able to gain in Taysom. So it's the blessing in disguise. We know what Brees can do. We know what he brings, and we were able to see the team once again, just like last year with Teddy Bridgewater, face that mountain and are able. And they're 3-0 without Drew Brees. So, let's just, I'm ready to have Brees come back. I want him to come back as healthy as possible. Like if he has to miss the Chiefs game, I won't be mad. But I do think that this is a good game to, see where we stand with the AFC's top competition. So you get what I'm saying? Like I definitely want to see them in that matchup, but I'm not putting a whole bunch of stock into that game because I think it's always about one game at a time and to focus on the playoffs and to not look too far ahead into the Super Bowl matchup, because I think that's what the Saints were doing kind of last year against the Minnesota Vikings. And that wild card game that we all thought we were going to win pretty easily turned out to be a game that we were disappointed by. So I think this New Orleans Saints team, just has to do what's best for the team. But I want to thank you for coming on the show today, man. I really appreciate it. And for those who don't know, who have never seen the podcast, here I like to do a segment that I call the Merv Speak segment, where I talk about something that's kind of been on my mind and some piece of advice that I want to give to you guys and share with you guys. And one thing I've been thinking about today is sometimes in relationships or when we're dealing with friendships, we might attract people that really don't have the best interest for us. We might, get faced with a lot of different things that we didn't sign up for. But I believe that if we want to see better in people, if we want to see better in the energy around us, you have to be the change that you want to see. So if you feel like your friends need to do a better job as a friend, you be that better friend. If you want to see your girlfriend or your boyfriend be, a better person, then you take that first step, and that energy will eventually find you, whether it be through that person or the next person. That energy.
The audio kind of went out a little bit.
Like the page and to definitely share the page with others. If you like talking Saints, if you like talking New Orleans Saints football, subscribe to the Black and Gold Hour YouTube page and follow the Black and Gold Hour Instagram page at Black and Gold Hour. Once again, I want to thank my man Brian for coming on the show. But thank you. Be safe. Peace.